Welcome, everyone, to the third episode, part 2 of Behind the Agent, a series brought to you by myself, Rampant Rooster, and Lala Lady D. In this series, we will be interviewing players from Zenith, The Last City. It's an open-world MMORPG virtual reality game. You can buy it on Steam or on the Meta Store. I'm going to let Lala take over the introduction of our continued guest.
Yeah, so we have Consequence again from Easy. Part one, we talked about all of his work that he does in his spare time with the website outside of all your IRL stuff. But from time to time, you actually get to go in and play the game, and you were one of the founders. So I think a lot of people are like, oh, they're not doing much, but really a lot has happened since it first came out. So do you want to talk a little bit about kind of what it was at the start and then how far it's come since then?
Yeah, man. I remember back in the alpha days when the game was Nexus. That was like the first few patches. It wasn't even like there wasn't even much outside of Nexus. They were just trying to get like the game to work, the character models to work, and everything. And the thing where you fall through the floor, that was happening then. Luckily, it doesn't happen so often anymore. But it was, they were still working on the non-loaded models and the models where there's actually surfaces on everything, and things didn't always load properly back then too. But yeah, and then like I remember when the game literally was only fractured plains to the mountain zones, and there was no beach, there was no desert. Like the map was much smaller, and looked totally different. It was a much smaller game. I remember the days where the event shade that's in the mountains was considered the last boss of the game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because there was nothing else. That was it. Yeah, and it's come quite a long way since then. Yeah, I don't know. The game definitely has more than twice or even three times as much content as they had when we first started playing, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fun, because I think I got it like a month after. So when like how much before launch did you start getting involved?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had a lot going on in my life at that time, and I didn't know Easy until just after launch. But I played every time they had a pre-alpha patch. I played, in the very beginning, like the pre-alpha and then the alpha and then the pre-beta and the beta. Like I had access to all of those because I was part of the OG backer group where I backed the game before it was even on Kickstarter and long time ago, when they first just they didn't have anything other than, hey, it's gonna be like SAO sort of, and it's on VR, and I had no idea what the game was gonna look like. They hadn't produced any promotional art. There wasn't any Kickstarter.
Like, here's a MMO for VR.
Yep, exactly.
Give us money.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I didn't know anybody back then. I just played when they sent us out a build in the email. I loaded it up and played it and just tried to, see what it was like and have a good time with it. And yeah, I watched it from the very beginning, where there was
now, like how it's evolved.
Yeah, and I'm just all about watching this community grow because it can only get bigger from here, for sure. Like this is. I mean, there are a couple other like sort of VR MMOs, but man, they're nothing like Zenith.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Mm-mm.
Well, and I don't think it was until recently. I think you play at night, and you were having a hard time finding some groups, and so we were like, okay, I'd raided with you a couple of times, and now, we frequently, you're still playing the game, you're still playing it like daily. So, kind of talk about a little bit what's been keeping you like engaged. Like, what are your favorite parts of the game?
Well, I mean, every patch has brought something cool and new. I am an old school MMO player, so I played MUDs back in the day. I played EverQuest. I played World of Warcraft. I've been on the forefront of watching every single new big MMO that was hitting the market. And when VR MMOs came out, I was like, yeah, this is my jam. And honestly, like that is one big reason why I keep playing Zenith just because I've dreamt about this kind of a game since I was a kid. When they first had Nintendos and they had like the dance pad and the shooting gun and the power glove,
Had all of them.
I was like, I'm gonna put on the VR helmet and I'm gonna have the gun and the glove and I'm gonna move on the thing and it's gonna be VR. It's gonna be great.
Yes.
And now we have it. This is it. This is what I've been waiting for. So it's cool. I like the community, honestly. Zenith, I mean, WoW has some pretty toxic players. Zenith is way better. The people in Zenith are so friendly, they're so helpful. Like even just yesterday, like we were doing TK runs and some kid came in and he's just like, I need help. I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
And every single one of us circled around him and was like, what do you need?
Yeah.
We're ready. And we went and immediately went out and just helped him kill like
that robot.
Yeah, the event boss there. And he was just and even like we went down there and he was way behind us and we were just kind of like, oh crap, we killed the boss too quick. And we're like, you know what, we're gonna sit here and help you out anyway. And like that never happened in WoW. Like we have such good players that are just so cool. It's really nice to see that. I like that.
Well, it
That's
seems
when
like everybody wants to like share their knowledge of it too, like, you know, like their builds and stuff. Like when people are like, hey, so what's your build? And like I understand like some people want to keep their private, that's totally fine, but for a majority of the players, like they want to share their knowledge of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I mean I like helping out with that too, especially on like the Discord. Like if anybody's like having an argument about stats or a situation, like here I've got this and I think this is doing more damage, or this and no this one does, and I'm ready because I've got all the data. I'm like, this.
Ask me.
I think that's a big part of what we appreciate having you in our Discord. Because you have something.
We're like, at consequence. What is this?
We'll settle this.
Yeah, and I love that because that was one of the big things for me on WoW was like theory crafting and like how do you optimize things and how do you like sim your character and figure out exactly which stats are going to make the most difference in each situation. And so I've got that like World of Warcraft stat brain going into my head, like, you know, like when we went into Skyland, I knew there was going to be like the pylons. I'm like, okay, well that means that AP is not going to be as powerful. We're going to have to start focusing on plus damage and, you know, plus this and different, you know, different specifically attacks or whatever. And like the whole community was kind of like, oh yeah, that's true. And like, so then we started to like stack ice piercers on the bosses and like getting things, like realizing like we're going to have to like stack other things to make ourselves more powerful. And that was really cool. It's cool to see that kind of thing happen and see people run with it and find new ways to do stuff. I love that.
So like, since you've kind of talked a little bit about like where it was to where it is now, what do you want to see in the future with Zenith?
An underworld.
Yeah.
I like, because I see Zenith, specifically the last patch I was playing the new Zelda game, and like there's a Skyland and there's the mainland and then there was like the dark underworld.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm thinking like that's because like the Skyland is like the Telos place and like the mainland is the Amara place, and then you've got Sidian, and Sidian's the bad guy, and I'm like, we need an underworld. We need like the underworld would be so cool, because they did that whole thing with the new launch or with the new starting experience where like you go through the cave and it gets really dark and like atmospheric.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that would be so cool to have like an underworld where everything is kind of spooky and dark, and like there's certainly you could go into a cave and there'd be like giant glowing mushrooms and the cave would be really bright and neat. Like I think that would be something that Zenith doesn't have, which would really be cool in VR.
It'd be pretty cool to have like neon frogs to catch as creature catchers down there.
I like that.
Like glowing frogs. Mutant frogs or something.
Yeah, that would be cool. Do we have a frog pet? I don't think we have a frog pet. Ooh, maybe we'll do that. See? Ramen.
Yeah,
listen,
coming up.
Give us frogs.
This is a good idea. We want
neon frogs.
Neon frogs. Glowing frogs.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely appreciate you taking your time with us. Part one, you know, you went over what all the many things you do for the Easy site and the community, basically. We appreciate you taking the time to kind of give us a little look into the past of Zenith, and then kind of like what you would like to foresee in the future as Zenith. So we definitely appreciate that.
Definitely. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
So if for the followers, if you have liked our video, please like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate you sticking with us on these videos. Again, semi-new series. This is episode 3, part 2. So we're still kind of getting the bearings under us, as well as like if you are interested in doing a video, just comment below and we will get in touch with you. We will do videos like this or in-game videos if you don't feel comfortable putting your face out there, which is understandable. Not everybody's like, hey. So
Face reveal.
yeah. So we totally
Also, don't forget, if you are interested in joining Easy, we're going to put a link to the Uzi Discord, and also a link to the Easy community website that we've been talking about.
Yes.
Or if you're interested in helping out with any website data or collecting anything for us or helping us at all, definitely hop into the Easy or into the Uza chat and chat to Zane. He can get you in the door, and we'd love help. Any help that we can get makes things better for us.
Better for the community.
Oh yeah, better for the community.
All right, all. Thank you very
All
much,
right.
and thanks for watching.